Faulkner here, and I'm so excited to chat with you all about writing and producing on the set of my first film, #Blessed the Movie. I reached out to the community in my Facebook group, Meet Me in Amberlight, and I asked my community, what do you want to know about writing and producing a film? I'm really excited to kind of dive into the questions that were put forth by the community and share my thoughts with you today. So the first question is, what was it like to see your work come to life as a writer? Now, there's so many great things to discuss when it comes to writing a screenplay, which is totally different than writing a novel or poetry. But it was a really emotional experience to A, be on the set as a writer, and B, get to really experience the characters that I'd created in my mind in person. It was kind of a very surreal experience. Typically, writers don't get to be on the set of their films. Typically, they will sell their script and then they are no longer part of it. The director and producers can decide what they want to do, things that they may want to change, and typically the writer isn't consulted. That being said, I was very fortunate to not only be a writer for this film, but to be a producer on it as well. And because of that, I was consulted a lot. I also have a really wonderful director, Stephanie McBain. I love you, you're amazing. And we talked about changing things and shifting things. Watching that all come to life in front of my eyes was, again, a very surreal experience. It's like if you've ever been to Disneyland, or if you've ever been to Universal Studios or the Wizarding World, and the first steps that you take into that place. That's what it felt like for me. It was just so overwhelming and beautiful and strange and new and familiar all at the same time. It was very rewarding seeing my characters come to life as a writer. The next question was, what is it like to be a producer? I'm excited to answer this question because I wasn't sure how I was going to be as a producer. Now, my mom has always taught me to be very hands-on and involved in anything that I'm doing. And I know that because of that, and because of, we run a film festival together, and I'm a co-producer for that film festival. So, but it's a little different running an event like a film festival versus a film. A lot of elements are the same, but being a producer, there were a lot of difficult moments where, you're not making a decision that is based on emotion. It's all very business-based, logic-based. What do we need? How can we get it as quickly as possible? How can I serve this person, this cast member, this crew member? And so I found it very rewarding. I will definitely produce again. I loved every minute of it. It was nice being able to, because I was a producer, still being able to have creative control over the story as a writer. So I highly recommend, if you do write a screenplay, be a producer as well and invest other time, effort, and money into your project so that you can maintain that creative control. I'd also add, and I'm going to go deeper into this in another video in the future, but don't marry yourself to the script and the words that you write in the script. It's important to let things go in your writing when it comes to a script, because beautiful gifts may show up that will create so much more production value. And if you're very married to certain ideas that you've written down, there's no room for them to grow, expand, and become better. For example, one of the scenes that I had written was supposed to take place at a Christmas tree lot. And it ended up being, we found a much better option that not only gave more production value because it was so beautiful, but it actually created a deeper emotional impact for the actors, the characters that they were playing to kind of play off of. So that would definitely be a big tip. And again, I will go deeper into that in a future video so that I can explain more of why it's important. The next question is, which characters did you wish you wrote more scenes for of the supporting roles? It's funny because once you start seeing them come to life, you don't realize how really truly dynamic these characters are. And there are so many beautiful roles in this film. If you haven't checked it out, you want to look at the cast, you can go to #blessedthemovie.com and check out who our cast is. But I really loved the dynamic between Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. Now, these are the very involved, nosy neighbors that live on the same street as Grandma, and they love Grandma's cookies. And I do wish I had written a little bit more about them, and it's very possible that they have their own story in the future. So stay tuned for that and keep an eye out for Mr. and Mrs. Thompson in the film. And the last question I have here is, what one thing would you do differently with your project next time? Advice for other writers who are producing too. This is such a great question. I would say the one thing I would do differently next time, meaning this time, because I'm going to be adapting the book I just wrote into a screenplay. In the first few versions of the script, I really felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And so the revision process for me was quite grueling, but I'm glad that I went through that, because now this time, once I've written it, I'm going to go back through it and look at it objectively through the eyes of a producer and through the eyes of myself as a writer, going, how can I improve this without necessarily adding more to it? And I know that sounds silly and counterintuitive, but here's the thing. When it comes to a script, the writer needs to leave space for the actors to create, for the director to create, for the cinematographer to create. And there needs to be that white space in the script for all of the artists to come together. Whereas in a novel, you're very much painting the entire picture. And with a screenplay, you're giving everybody a paintbrush to create with you. I think for this next time, and my advice to anybody who would be writing and producing would be to ensure that you're leaving space for that art to be created for everyone, and to, again, not marry yourself to the script. I'm very big on that. I feel like if I had been so stuck to the words, that the movie would not be what it is now. I guess that would be 2 tips. Leave that space for everyone to create. Everybody has something beautiful to bring to the table. It doesn't matter which role a person is playing in your cast or crew. Once they've looked at the script, they are going to bring their own ideas and values to the table, and you want to create space for that to happen. So that being said, I look forward to chatting with you again. I hope this was an exciting topic to cover, and I'm looking forward to sharing more with you about the process. And of course, until next time, go barefoot and live whimsy.